close your eyes. It's the year 1347. You're in a foggy English village. You're barely 15 and your name is Margot. In the darkness of the night, you stand at the door of a stone cottage. Your hands are trembling. The dry rushes under your bare feet crackle softly. Your new husband, Henrik, is walking towards you, almost your father's age, but you didn't choose him. Your father gave you to him in exchange for 3 pigs and half an acre of barley. The flickering candlelight dances across Henrik's face, and for you this will be the longest night of your life. The things your mother whispered about wifely duties echo in your ears. Outside there's laughter, singing, the noise of a crowd. This is the real Middle Ages, a time when even the most private human emotions were smothered by fear and rigid rules. In those days, the bedroom wasn't private. It wasn't anyone's sacred space. Villagers, neighbors, everyone wanted to know whether your marriage was being fulfilled properly. There was a custom called the bedding ceremony. On the wedding night, everyone would escort you and your husband to bed, sometimes even watch you undress. They would stand outside the door, waiting to hear the sounds that confirmed the marriage had been consummated. What seems horrifying to us today was considered perfectly normal back then. But it went deeper than that. Priests would shout, "Even if you are married, too much pleasure is a sin." St. Jerome once said, "Even if you love your own wife too ardently, you are committing adultery." Thomas Aquinas, in his Summa Theologica, wrote that married couples should only come together on certain days of the year, and only in one specific position. So if Henrik wanted to touch Margot on a Thursday night, even if she said no, she could still be seen as sinful. Even her own body didn't belong to her. A woman's body in the Middle Ages was a mystery mixed with fear. The physicians of the time described women as unfinished men. To them, the vagina was an inverted penis, and the ovaries were internal testicles. It sounds absurd now, but that was what was taught in those days. And those misconceptions shaped the fate of countless women. If a woman was assaulted and became pregnant, judges often said, "Then she must have enjoyed it." Ignorance and injustice walked hand in hand. They believed in a condition called the wandering womb, where the uterus could move inside the body, pressing on the heart, or even suffocating the woman. Their so-called cure, rubbing foul smells on the nose to drive the womb down, and sweet aromas between the legs to lure it back. Women's suffering lived in the shadow of fear and false knowledge, yet women didn't give up. In small villages, wise women gathered in secret, mixing herbs under the moonlight. Pennyroyal and tansy. Tea were used to prevent pregnancy, but one wrong sip could mean death. The church called it witchcraft, but people never stopped. Women prayed to Saint Margaret while brewing their herbs, half prayer, half magic, because survival required both. Marriage was a test for women. Virginity was a family's honor. If there was no blood on the sheets that night, the marriage could be annulled, and the girl might be killed. Some secretly pricked their fingers or used chicken blood, because to be misunderstood could mean death. Doctors of the time believed the hymen completely sealed the vagina. Ignorance sealed thousands of fates. The church called marriage sacred, but at the same time it saw the human body as the root of sin. Only the missionary position was considered part of God's order, a woman on top, unnatural. But in taverns, castles, and cottages, people whispered different stories. Desire cannot be outlawed. At that time, people often mistook their repressed urges for demons. A woman who spoke of a sexual dream could be accused of sleeping with the devil and burned. What we now call sleep paralysis was then seen as a demonic assault. The darkness of that age lived in the thin space between ignorance and faith. Even a woman's natural cycle was feared. Menstrual blood was said to be poison. It could spoil crops and dull knives. During those days, women were banned from churches and kitchens. The church tied it to Eve's sin. Every month, God reminds you, they said. Women were shamed into silence. Still, they found their own ways, using moss, cloth, and sheepskin for protection. They shared their knowledge quietly among themselves because telling a male doctor could be dangerous. Sex wasn't love, it was status. Men had to be strong, women pure. A man's virility determined his social worth. A woman's slightest rumor could disgrace her entire family. Adultery could mean death for her. For men, it was nothing. Even justice had a gender. And yet, in all that darkness, there is still a dream: love. What they called courtly love, the chivalric ideal, was the only holy bond outside marriage. True love, they believed, must never be fulfilled. It was made sacred through longing and restraint. Commoners lived differently. A girl might love the blacksmith's son, but her father would choose the miller who offered more grain. Love ended at the bargaining table. Rules began. Still, people resisted. Not only women, men too. Young lovers met in the forest under the guise of picking flowers. The church called it a sin, but life always finds a way. And that's why Margot's story isn't just one girl's story. Her trembling hands in that stone cottage carried the weight of an entire world's fears and rules. The Middle Ages teach us something simple. Human desire can't be silenced, not by fear, not by punishment, not by shame. Even in silence, people like Margot remind us of that truth. The Middle Ages were not only the age of swords, they were the age of hearts and fears. And in that tiny cottage, under the faint glow of a candle, humanity was still searching for the same thing: to be loved, to be understood, and to survive. Don't forget to hit the like button, follow us, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.